But I want to preach this morning. I want to preach this morning. I want to preach about a relevant Jesus. Somebody say a relevant Jesus. If he walked among us in the flesh today, he would still be relevant. If Jesus showed up in 2026, would we follow him or would we scroll past him? Would we repost his miracles but ignore his messages? See, we love a Jesus that inspires, but not a Jesus that requires. We shout over resurrection, but go silent when he calls us for transformation. Because a relevant Jesus wouldn't just fix your life, he would confront your patterns. He wouldn't just bless your plans, he would interrupt your comfort. He wouldn't just heal your body, he would expose your heart. And let's be honest. If Jesus walked into our timelines, he wouldn't be trending, he'd be triggering. Not because he's wrong, but because he's real. They didn't crucify Jesus because he was powerless. They crucified him because he refused to be edited by culture. He was too holy for compromise, too loving for hate, too truthful for systems, and too relevant to ignore. So the question isn't, was Jesus relevant then? The real question is, would we recognize him now or reject him again? Because the same Jesus they crucified then is the same Jesus still calling us now. If Jesus showed up in 2026, he wouldn't be trending, he'd be targeted. If Jesus walked into our cities, he wouldn't be invited, he'd be investigated. If Jesus spoke truth to power, he wouldn't go viral, he'd be silenced. Because the same spirit that cried Hosanna on Sunday is the same spirit that yelled crucify him by Friday. And I came to tell somebody this morning, Jesus was not crucified because he was weak. He was crucified because he was relevant. Somebody say he was crucified because he was relevant. And listen, church, that same relevant Jesus that they crucified is that same relevant spirit that lives on the inside of us. So when we feel like we're being crucified, we ought to pat ourselves on the back and say, I must be doing something right. When they crucify us, when they try to put words of negativity on us, we ought to hold our chest out and testify, I must be like Jesus.